Shalom, Akim. Yabashima Shai Brakatham to you and your households, man. Yabashima Shai protect you in these dark times that we will be facing. But nonetheless, the Lord will be with us. Yabashima Shai Brakatham. All praise Yabashima Shai. Deborah to the apostles of great millstone and peace and mercy to the elect by Hashem Harakak Wadash. All right, this is gonna be a response to the power outages in the U.S. that the beloved Apostle Tahar been speaking about over time, period, And most recently he been heavily been touching on power outages. Matter of fact, let's check out this clip from the apostles.
But get prepared. There will be a power outage here in New York. Now, what comes to mind is John Todd. He made a statement. He said that when the power goes out in New York City, we will have the world. That's they're reaching their how can I say this, pinnacle of power. The agenda will be fulfilled when the power goes out in New York City. And John Todd said that well over 30 years ago. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.
So, like the apostle is explaining, there will be a power outage. And he came from the perspective of the guy that's named John Todd. A part of their plan, they said, when New York City experienced it, it will it'll be that time where they ready to take over completely. And also it speaks about it in the scriptures. It's prophecy, which I'm gonna get concerning the darkness. It's gonna be darkness over here. I've also heard the apostle explain like it ain't gonna it may just be in pockets. It won't be just necessarily everything and just dark at once. It may be pockets and areas concerning it. So we'll see what Yahweh Shema Shai do. But nonetheless, what I did do was look up an article explaining if a power outage happened, like scenarios that would take place. And this article is pretty good, man. It's pretty good because that's going to be a part of the Heavenly Father's judgments. Is to take the power from you people, and a lot of you people are going to do exactly how this article explains it. So let's run through this article real quick and see what this lady is talking about. This is written on March 16th, 2020. It says, "Could we survive a long-term power outage?" by Sherry Howard Hewins. And she's coming from the aspect of experience, because this is how she starts off it. It says, "I had spent weeks without electricity due to power outages. This led me to take an interesting and vulnerable. This made me take an interest in the vulnerability of the electric grid." So this was one of the ladies who lived more in the country. She didn't live in a large city, but she was experiencing power outage, and it made her consider. Okay, see, the average American, in their distractions of this bread and circus, all this different entertainment out here, they never even thought about if a blackout happened, how severe it would be. Matter of fact, let's read with this lady her points that she concluded, because it's very thoughtful. It says, the title of the first paragraph says, "It's not just the lights that go out." Just that title is makes you think. It says, "When people think of power going out, the first thing that usually come to minds are TV, lights, computer, and the internet. A typical response is, I can read a book, play a board game. It won't bother me too much." Okay? And I believe that point that she, for her first intro point, is on point with me, because I've noticed that in people, they'll just go buy board games, or they'll just read a book, and that's what they think, that it'll pass over. Even matter of fact, when this whole COVID, when this whole C-19 stuff started to boom, the board game industry started, the stock started to shoot up. Everybody was buying all the board games up. And if you notice when you went to like any type of Walmart and anything like that, the board games was all gone. You know, so how much more in the if the lights go off? It says if you are in that situation right now, skip to the bottom of the article. How to deal with the power outage section for some practical advice on how to get by until the power comes back on. She was like, look, if you got that type of mind frame, look, you need to just go down to the bottom of the article where it says how to deal with it. Because it's more than just you. Basically, she gonna talk about it's more than just getting some board games. Okay? It says, could we survive a long-term power outage? It says our society is dependent upon electricity. Okay, let me slide this. It says the truth is we rely on electricity more than we realize. Even if you live off the grid, as I did for years, you are still living in a world, in a society that deeply depend upon electricity. And that's a fact over here in America. Everything basically is run off electricity. So everything will be non-workable. It says if the power is out for a few hours, we have all experienced that. Of course, you'll be fine. Maybe you'll be a little bored and inconvenienced, but in the outage, but if the outage is lengthy and widespread, the consequences can be much more severe, even deadly. What would happen if electricity was out for a week? The next one says, what happens if the power grid fails? It says, last winter, we had a little taste of what widespread power outages will be like. Here in my little foothills town, we had usually heavy snowfall. Over the course of the winter, the total days without power came to more than 20, with an outage lasting for 8 days. Since we are on a well and an electrical pump, if the power is out of the water, the power is out, the water is out. So the people, she lived in the off grid, or she lived in a small country town, and the water system that she had was ran off electricity. So the power out, no water for them. You know, unlike a city that's in the city where it's more people and densely populated. So if you live widespread out there, you're going to be dealing with this type of situation to where the way you get your water, the electricity pump don't work because no electricity. It says people who live in a town and are on city water didn't have that problem, but many municipal water systems are automated. If the power is out long enough, even the city folk will run out of water. So from the people that's on the outskirts of the city to the people that's in the city, eventually everything gonna be affected from the power outage. It says many homes are all electric. So as soon as the lights are out, they have no heat, no water, no hot water, and they can't cook. No heat, no hot water, and you can't cook. That's essential to you. Hot water is essential to you, especially if it's in the winter, if the weather's cold. Okay? No heat is essential. You know? It says some well-prepared people who lived in the areas where there are frequent power outages have generators. However, most generators run out of diesel fuel or gasoline. So even people who have generators, you only have that generator for so long. And then you got to consider having a generator as a threat, because people see you got electricity and they don't. They're going to come for it. You see? So it's just the Most High is covering all angles when he get ready to judge everybody. As we read in here, it says if the power is out, gas stations can't pump gas. Once generators run out of gas, these people would be in the dark too. If if you have a battery operated radio, you might be able to get some news for a while. But if the grid goes down, you probably won't be able to get a station. If you have a landline phone, it might work, but your cordless phone won't. If you do not have an old-fashioned phone to plug into the wall, you're out of luck. And while your cell phone will not go out immediately, the circuits will soon be overloaded with panicked callers. Service will get more and more spotty until the central switching facility finally runs out of power backup and it goes completely dead. So you'll have your phone for a little bit. It's going to go quick. All right, like I said, the towers are going to be overran with calls and all type of different things, which is going to cause the service to fail because people worried about no electricity. Now the next one says refrigeration. It just what it's going to show you is going to be a real bad time, and that's what Apostle Tahar was saying. Get ready, mentally get your mind ready, because this is going to happen. We're going to have to lean on Yahweh Shemel Shai, and if you may occur where you in the darkness. It says it is refrigeration. It's bad enough when all the food in your refrigerator and freezer has spoiled. What about when the same thing happens at the local Safeway, your local store? It says the store has probably been closed the whole time anyway because their scanners don't work. Even if you could find a store open, if you don't have cash, what are you going to do for money? ATM machines will not be working. Maybe they'll take a check. So food is going to spoil, which is going to lead. It's going to lead and play brother to the famine. It's going to play friends with famine. Power outage. You know? It says emergency services. It says traffic lights will go out too. That's not too much of a problem in a small town, but in a big city, it could be a major calamity. Yeah, because motherfuckers start looting. People going to start invading each other. And that's the scriptures. The love of many shall wax cold. You know? They should destroy the city because of the lack of bread. All right, it says communication for police and fire departments can be compromised. Without their phones and internet, they are forced to rely on their car radios. When a whole city loses power, authorities usually close the airports. If your city has electricity, trolleys, and trains, those will not be running. So, but you got to think about it. The police, they're going to team up with each other. They ain't going to be worried about you people to come save you. They're worried about themselves and their families. It says cities run on electricity. It says modern high-rise buildings depend on electricity to keep them habitable. Many don't even have windows that open. So without mechanical ventilation and air conditions, they will soon become unbearable. Then there is that classic situation of people stuck in the elevators. Certain people are going to die in the elevator because of a power outage. That's going to be their judgment from the Lord. It says another problem in a large city is looting. It is almost inevitable in these situations. A lengthy power outage can have a huge economic impact too. It is impossible for modern commerce to continue without a computer or phones. And I'll leave it off right there. And it goes into nuclear power plants, how they need electricity to cool down. You know, this is from allocation.com. If you could look up at the top, type it in. Or you could type in, could we survive in a long-term power outage, if you want to finish the article. So as we reading him, this lady is going in on just considerable things of a power outage will happen. Just the everyday common thing that you think about how it will be affected. And she did that off of experience of what she dealt with and how it affected her of a 20 to 8 day power outage. So when this come, you Americans ain't ready. You're not ready. You're not ready. You're not ready. And what we're doing to be ready is straight getting right with the Lord, because the Most High, He gonna provide no matter what happens with us, whether it be electricity going or whether it's no food. We having faith that the Lord gonna take care of us. Nothing is impossible with Yahweh Shemel Shai. But let's get into a couple verses here, just a couple of them, showing you that America will be plagued with a darkness from the Yahweh Shemel Shai. You know, for judgment for the wicked. It says Exodus 20 and 10 to 20. It says, this is going back to the time of Pharaoh and Moses. It says, but the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart so that he would not let the children of Israel go. And we're dealing with this same situation today. The Pharaoh, the modern day Pharaoh, is the Edomite, okay? The self-proclaimed white man. And we are the children of Israel, the Negro Latino Native Americans. We're once again in captivity, you know, and Pharaoh won't let us go. The Edomites won't let us go. It says, and the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thy hand toward heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even a darkness that which may be felt, so a thick darkness. And Moses stretched forth his hand towards the heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days. They saw not one another, neither rose any from the place for 3 days. But the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. So the Lord plagued Egypt for the sake of his people. Okay, he plagued Egypt for the sake of his people. All right, and it said his people had light. Now his people because right now, all of his people ain't acting like his people. 2/3 over here in America gonna have to be cut off. So the Israelites that will get light now is gonna be the elect, or the ones who chosen to be saved. All the rest of you Israelites, you're gonna suffer like the heathen because of your wickedness. So we're dealing with that same thing today. The same situation is happening. We're in slavery. Pharaoh don't want to let us go. So the Lord getting ready to plague this place. Matter of fact, the second verse that I have queued up is 2nd Esdras chapter 15 verse 20. 15 verse 10. It says, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. Okay? Ezra was during the time of the Persian Empire. So what do you mean in the land of Egypt? We didn't go back into the actual land of Egypt in Africa and serve slavery again. You know, Moses and them been dead before Ezra was born. You know what I'm saying? So what is it talking about? It's talking about America, because Egypt coincides with bondage or slavery of the Israelites. And now we're in this modern day slavery. So now our people are they're getting led right to this flock, like a flock to slaughter, because they don't know what's going on out here. And these Edomites are going for their new world order, and they're going to go for it by using things like power outages to kill you off. It says, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and will smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. So the Most High said he gonna plague this place with plagues as before, like he did during the time of Egypt. And we know that during the time of Egypt, that the Lord sent off 10 vicious, deadly plagues. You know? 10 vicious, deadly plagues got sent off. And the Lord said he's going to do it again as before. So this place is going to get plagued like he did the land of Egypt. And one of those things are no power. Darkness that may be felt. And like that lady was saying, when this darkness coming, people going to start looting. Okay? People going to the love of many going to wax cold. Looking for food and water and doing whatever they got to do to get their families good. So it's gonna be judgment. You gotta just consider that. A lot of death, right? Now this is wisdom. Now when you jump to, I'm not gonna read the whole thing. I'm just gonna read a couple verses. When you jump to the book of Wisdom of Solomon, the 17th chapter, the whole chapter goes into depth, focus on when we read in Exodus 10, when it gives a summary of the darkness, but Wisdom of Solomon going into depth about that darkness, what was happening in that darkness. Now, you could read the whole chapter for yourself, but I'm just going to read these couple first verses on how it started off. It's Wisdom of Solomon 17:1. It says, for great are thy judgments and cannot be expressed. Therefore, unnurtured souls have erred. When the unrighteous man thought to oppress the holy nation, when you Edomites, you're trying to oppress the holy nation. Back then it was Pharaoh and the Egyptians. It says they being shut up in their houses, the prisoners of darkness, and fetters with bonds of a long night, laid their exile from the eternal providence. For while they supposed to lie hid in their secret sins, they were scattered under a dark veil of forgetfulness, being horribly astonished and terrible and troubled with strange apparitions. You see? So Esau, you got mad secret sins, or the self-proclaimed white man, he has mad secret sins of what you've been doing to the Israelites. Getting away with rape, robbery, and murdering, that's how you will. Brought us over here in slavery, doing whatever you do to this day. Everybody know what you did to the Negro, Latino, Native American man, you Edomites. So your secret sins, the Lord gonna get you with plague. And it said that these people it said that darkness, when you read down, you get all the details. It says that darkness was like a prison to these people. It was a prison. And they were tormented with strange apparitions. So the Lord gonna have you out here like it's a horror movie. You're gonna be seeing demons and all different type of things to scare your soul, like a scary movie. Like you watching a Ring or something. And it's because of your wickedness. The Lord gonna do that to you. All right? So, man, I just want to do a quick response and back up the apostle in the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shai. I hope that was edifying. I'm gonna say Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Shai. Hey, man, like the apostle said, just make sure if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. You know what I mean? Yahweh Shemel Shai, Barakatah. We should be good while these people in darkness. Shalom.